Welcome to Frey and Slay. We will be discussing Behind Her Eyes, the latest Netflix binge worthy thriller that keeps the audience guessing up to the very end. Based on the 2017 novel of the same name by Sarah Pembroke, Behind Her Eyes follows the story of Louise, a single mother, as she enters a world of twisted mind games when she begins an affair with her boss David while secretly befriending his mysterious wife Adele. Our discussion will include spoilers, so if you have not watched this series, then you may want to pause here and go check it out. Otherwise, let's begin.
And welcome to Frey and Slay. Today we'll be discussing the most amazing, exciting series that everyone's chatting about currently, Behind Her Eyes. So all of the ladies have watched it. We all have our opinions on it, our questions, our thoughts. And so we just wanted to chat a little bit today and kind of see what everybody stands on it now that everybody has finished the series and kind of see what the thoughts are. So chime in, ladies. What do you think? What do y'all think about Behind Her Eyes?
Amazing. I was not expecting the ending, but I'm glad I stayed and watched it and binged it.
Actually, yeah,
shouldn't it really have been Behind His Eyes, since it was really a man the whole time?
But he was behind her eyes.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Well, and I'll say just what Rochelle and I had kind of previously chatted about. I don't do shows with accents unless it's the Duke. Now I'll do the Duke from Bridgerton, but other than that, I don't do accent pieces. But I did enjoy this one because I don't understand what they're saying. and sometimes like the references they were saying, I was like, wait, what? Like English.
The flat. It's a flat.
Yeah, like different things like that. I was like, I couldn't catch what they were talking about.
A flat is a house.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I know that, but in specific, there was a stretch of dialogue that she had with what is it, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
That's her son.
Not her son,
David?
the man.
David.
What was the man's name?
David.
With David. There was a dialogue they had, and she was making references, and I had no idea what they were. So I was like, okay, moving on. Because of, their different terminology that they use.
I watch a lot of British shows, so I didn't.
Well, that's like 51 of your percent, though, right? That's your 51%.
The other part of that too.
I mean, a lot of it too was kind of context clues. If you the other thing she was talking about and referencing a flat, you kind of.
Well, no, I'm not saying flat specifically because, I think that's the obvious, but there was a dialogue she and David were having where she was saying something in a dialogue and I had no idea what it was. And I was like, oh.
I think trying to say women are crazy. I feel like the basis of it was to say like we're all controlled by men. Like that was the.
I got a little bit of a sexism vibe from it after watching it, that there was like a male dominating the women die.
Or he was jealous of her life and so he wanted to have it, but
he was definitely jealous.
Was he
Definitely
gay?
jealous.
Was he? I thought at first
Rob
he
was.
Her.
No, Rob, because Rob
was.
admitted when they were in the institution together that he liked men and that he
I missed that part.
So it was understood that he was gay in one of the flashbacks. Like that's what he preferred.
But he definitely was.
I thought
always...
he had a crush on her.
That's what I thought. I didn't catch the gay reference at all.
I think that he was like looking back on it now, he knew that was easy prey, that he could easily manipulate her to get what he wanted.
But see, I don't think that. I think he was an opportunist. So I think that I honestly think that he was a real friend to her. But I think when he saw an opportunity to change his life for the better, he seized it. But I don't, because like when he came to the house to visit her, I still didn't get a feeling like he was trying to use her or take something from her. You know, he was just he was definitely envious, but I think he was just kind of living the moment. And then when she showed him how, you know, how to astral project, and then that opportunity, that aha moment, because he came up with that, remember? And so
Did
her
he? That's why I was
that.
confused. No, that's why I was confused.
It was his
Because
idea.
in the book,
Yeah.
it's in his words, right? But then in the actual setting where they're at the house alone, she said, let me show you this. Don't tell anyone because I don't want anybody to know. So I was totally confused because they showed her teaching it to him. Now all of a sudden
Right.
he mastered it and perfected it and in that little weekend or whenever.
He's
And
like,
then
I have an
switching
idea.
souls.
Let's try this.
That was two separate times. Her showing him it was one time. Him having the idea to switch happens
Yeah.
later. And both times she's telling him, like, this is a secret, don't tell David.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's what I mean. Like, I couldn't tell whose it was. So, of course, in the end, we realized the book was actually written by him because he's in her body. But when they showed the flashbacks when they were at the house, she's teaching him how to do it. So,
Right.
my confusion is how she taught him how to do it, yet he perfected it in a way that he was able to change.
He didn't perfect it.
He
didn't.
But how was he able?
He might have just never thought of that.
But no, when I say perfected it, meaning he took it to the next level, to the sense that she was just going out of her body, right? Going out of her body. But he took it to the next level in the sense of now it's like, oh fuck, we can just go in each other's body. Forget flying around seeing things. I can go in your body, you can go in mine. That's next level shit. She wasn't doing that.
But I think that goes back to Maisha's point of he just saw an opportunity and took advantage of it. Not he was some high level thinking forward. It was just like
looking for a way out.
No. I think you guys are missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I was confused at whose idea it was.
Okay.
I agree that he saw an opportunity. What I'm saying is it was confusing to explain whose idea it was because she was teaching him at one moment, and then the next moment he's teaching her how to switch bodies.
Okay.
Is all I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. And I think if you noticed it the first time, like they're laying in the bed, and the second time they're outside. So that was kind of the cue of like, okay, we're at a different time. They're doing it again. Like we know they can do it. So like what's going on? Like what's happening? And then you see like they're gonna switch bodies and it's just like, oh.
Because I think he had that aha moment when he was in the tub. Because that's when he told her, hey, I've been thinking of something, let's try it.
Let's try it.
Yeah. And I think he was literally looking for a way out, you know, and it might have been one of those things that never crossed her mind to even think of doing that because even though she had some sucky parts of her life, she was rich. She had a man who loved her.
But you know, I go back to what Alexa said, and I do think that while he saw an opportunity, I do think he gravitated towards her because she was quote unquote weak. And I think that's the same way he gravitated towards Louise. I think Louise and Adele were actually very similar, trusting. They clearly hurt people. And he saw a way in there to almost like manipulate it. Because even when you looked at their friendship, his and Adele's friendship, it was just like, this is weird. Like, she's really nice to him, but like, what is she getting from him other than like some laughs? And so I do feel like he saw somebody with like money, she's pretty, like, I'm going to attach onto her, telling her like, don't sign your money over. Like, do you really trust David? Are you sure? And so it just felt like there was something.
Codependent relationship.
There was something.
I got the opposite. Like, I didn't see it, that I saw that she was leeching onto him. Like, she needed his energy and to teach her how to manage her, the issues she was having. And that he was really being a good friend to her. And I felt like he actually did love her. Like he really wanted to be with her in a romantic way. But because that couldn't happen, he just became like a really close friend to her. I felt the opposite.
I didn't see that he wanted to be with her in a romantic way. I think he was more into what she had. And that was the money, that was the man. I just didn't see him more pining after her versus being envious of her.
I don't think
but
it
if you
was
listen to the
money though,
Huh?
because when he was with Louise, I don't think it was the money, because when he was with Louise, Louise didn't have any money. The ultimate goal was David. Like he just wanted to be with David.
yeah, and David only had money from Adele. So it's not like David had money. David came from a farming family. So I think it was just, you know, the man and, well, I guess essentially the lifestyle after the fact. But I apologize. I think Rochelle was chiming in and we haven't heard from her too much yet. So
I was gonna laugh and say at the end when they changed bodies, I said, "Damn, David can't shake that crazy bitch for nothing."
oh
He
my
said,
God.
"I'm gonna stick with you for life. We together forever." And that poor kid was like, "But you said you like the ocean. Like, who are you?" The kid even knew something was different. Like, who are you? You know my mama.
Well, they
I
say
was
So I
dog.
felt bad for the kid.
And I was starting to hate Louise. I was like, bitch, mind your business.
Yeah.
You're doing the
Her
most.
neediness.
Like,
You're very needy. It was like, I need to have this moment for myself because I had him and I had my son and then my husband cheated. And it's just like, okay, and so now you got to mess up their marriage because
I mean, that was messed up. Like,
you're gonna be best friends. See, that's why I don't mess with hoes, because you're gonna be best friends with the girl knowing you sleeping with the man.
right.
Never see that woman in her. I could never look that woman straight in her face ever again in life.
but you know what? That would have been my first red flag when he's cheating on his wife and she wants to be your friend and not tell her husband. To me, that would have been like, oh, y'all are messed up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not joining this like circus.
That's definitely some old white people. Excuse me, not white people, because I don't want to offend you, but that's some old trailer park stuff there. Like, nah.
I thought, that was a little extra.
And for her to be black,
But when they did the flashback, they made it sound like he purposely ran into her. There was no accident about how he met Louise.
No, the wife
Adele.
purposely.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Adele.
Well, I mean, he.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Because she was around all the time. So when Louise was showing David the map, the spirit was in the room watching. So that's how she knew the neighborhood and where she was going around, because he behind her eyes was in the room.
I didn't understand why she had to be home when they called, and I got it at the very end, is because he knew she was always around and she was able to see everything.
He didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't know that she went out of her body.
He couldn't understand how she knew a lot of stuff that was going on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But
Yeah,
I think I'm sorry to cut you off, Melissa. I think he checked on her throughout the day because Rob was
She was crazy.
sick. And so he was more worried about her mental health and her being out and amongst people and doing crazy stuff. And I think that's why he had her on such a tight leash. I don't think it had to I think that was most of it, is the way of him monitoring her and who she interacted with. Because I guess that whole situation with our old girl in the coffee shop kind of jacked him up. He was like, I'm not trying to go through this again.
Yeah.
And that was like the second red flag. You met the other girl he messed with, and she said he seemed relieved that it was just my clothes. And then Adele told her, I think he killed somebody. And you're still
and she's still
interacting
intrigued
with these people.
I'm like, deuces, enough.
Would have been like, I ain't trying to end up missing.
Man, I would have and it's funny because Robert Dale was banking on Louise's sympathy to come and rescue her, because Maisha, Robert Dale would have been that bro boy.
Robert Dale.
There to go.
Right, she making him do like a fool. Like,
I was like, oh well, he about to be a rich widow. I can wait.
Caught up with David after the house burn.
Right. Meet you at the funeral. We mourn together.
Oh yeah.
Always the chapel.
Oh, man.
I like that. I like the way the end came full circle, because one of the comments that David made was, you know, his wife wants shine and he really didn't know what happened. And I guess that's at the end, it shows you what happened. Essentially, she was no longer in her body. That was right. Yeah.
I was so sad by the ending though.
Yeah, but we really
like,
never got to meet Adele.
I explain it. I was like really hurt that Louise
Yeah.
It messed me
died.
up.
I was hurt
It
too.
did, because then it's like now she's this poor kid got this nutcase.
When
But he had a good daddy. He had a good dad.
When she said Adam, oh my gosh, I was like,
Yeah,
I can't.
that jacked me up.
I wish she would have said Adam earlier in the night though, and kept her butt at home, because I kept thinking,
Yeah.
you have a kid. You have
Why
a kid.
are you
like,
there?
Cut it off.
Why do
Cut
you
it off.
care?
They're
And
crazy.
the girl had just cussing her out over the phone, screaming, "You bitch, you this," and then you gonna go take your tail over there? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would have made a good story plot, but honey, I mean,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that weave in the world, we know true Louise wouldn't have been there. A real
Thank
black woman wouldn't have
you.
been there.
No, we would have stopped
After
when
the
we saw
curse
him at
out,
the
we would have
job.
that one out.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Alexis. Thank you. That would have been the third red flag.
Right?
After he fired you.
Yes.
And then
Lost your
threatened to
job
tell-
over
to
some
threaten.
ass. Yes, that would have been it.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
have been
I
like-
lost my
Honestly,
job.
She did
Oh,
not
y'all.
know her race as an employee, because I would have sued the shit out of that company.
I
Yeah, I
had
don't
the
know.
house, the cottage,
Yeah.
wherever that is.
I mean, I guess they should have made Adele Louise the black woman, and then Louise should have been the Adele.
I thought they should have just
Actress.
switched Marianne and Louise, because Marianne's reaction was like,
Yeah,
I get that. She cut it off. That was it. I was
Mhm.
like, she should have been played by
She
Louise.
was like, "You want this door open or closed?" I like how when she left, she was like, "You want the door open or closed? Like, are we gonna keep this friendship or are we gonna close the door?" And she closed the door. Like, damn, okay, that's almost
That was a good friend. Like that was a really good friend.
She tried to tell her.
Yeah,
Louise.
yeah, she did.
She was steady pining over somebody else's man.
Mhm.
She cut off her friend.
Yeah.
Woman.
Cut off her friend, and then they cut off her circulation.
Come out,
Mhm.
they both need her. Bitch, please.
So neither one,
Kinda
didn't
shit
neither
in
one
the
of them
bed.
need
She
you.
need
How was
them.
they surviving
Right.
before? Yeah, she needed to be needed.
But they can't
clearly.
be happy. They're only happy when they were her. Your ego is overstoked, woman.
And her friend told
I
her,
didn't-
she's like, you're gonna get hurt. And I was
Yeah.
just like, that seems like a no-brainer. So I
So it's-
understood Adam being gone. And I was like, have your fun. But once she got fired and Adam came back, I was like, why are we still like
Yeah.
entertaining this?
And don't nobody in the office see what's happening. Like, okay, he fired her. He made her quit. It used to work my nerves when she would listen to their phone conversations and
Yeah.
and I was like,
So,
I loved it.
Why are you so
it
invested?
made me nervous. It was just like, oh my god.
was it just me, or did nobody else be like, damn, this bitch got a hell of a savings because she ain't even looking for no job after she got fired?
Right.
She didn't look for no job. She must
I
be
think
getting
she got
child support.
alimony. She had to have gotten alimony because her husband cheated, so she probably got some
She
money.
had to
That's a
have
whole
I mean, she worked
separate-
hard
She was
time.
not stressed at all. She was just
Ah. I like. I
She
But
was
didn't
then
still
know.
again,
chasing
like I
behind
said,
them.
She wanted the United States, honey. So they got better laws other places for scoring women.
Well,
Ain't no telling
I
what she was
wonder.
getting paid.
So we know we realized that Adele was in the room when Louise was telling him around the neighborhood. But I wonder at what point did she find out they were messing around?
She was in the
Because it had to be at some point that
Room, she
triggered her
probably
to
into a
found
dead
even.
out
house
the
and
first
she
night
saw
they went and got drinks.
You
Yeah.
think she was
She
She would
there?
have had to have gone there to have known that. So I don't think she knew the first night. I think she found out watching them in the office, because she even said you have to have been there to
That's
be
true.
able to go there. So I think she was watching them in the office and picked up on it. And you notice when she went.
Oh,
to
maybe
the
she heard the
room-
conversation.
But when she went to Louise's house, we saw her walking around and it's like, this is weird. Why is she doing that? And it was so she could come back later and watch. So we know, she saw them hooking up. And she probably got that suspicion watching them in the office.
Yeah, because I guess in the office, when they did finally formally meet each other in the office, they did say, they did reference that night. So maybe she heard that and that's why she intentionally bumped into her. Because at first I was like, well, how does she know? But I guess, yeah, they did have a brief conversation regarding in the office at that. Do y'all think they should continue the series, or
they need
to? I'm worried about Adam.
I would love it if it was like 10 years in the future and Adam's like, something's not right with my mom. And
10 years,
to
figure it out.
Well, he's 7. Like, what can he do at 7? Like,
tell his dad he want to move in with.
He'll be jacked up at the end.
Yeah.
I'm sure her light will not, she won't be shining at that point, you know, because at some point, if you love somebody that much, you got to be able to tell when there's that change that happens.
But she looked crazy. Her eyes were like,
but you're not gonna think.
Notice that she changed. Like, we knew she changed. How did they not know she changed?
But if I started acting like, hi guys, are you gonna think someone possessed my body? Or are you gonna be like,
but her clothes?
What happened?
We're gonna be like, what? Right, Rochelle. She changed her whole way she dressed.
Yeah. Like, if I was a dad, yeah. If I was a dad, I'd be like, no, maybe you don't look well. Let Adam stay here for a while, go about your business, and then we'll circle back. Like, I wouldn't have been like
pushing him out the door, going back home. She just pushing him. That was just so out of character for her.
Yeah. So I would have been like, nah, he gonna stay here for a little bit. You can just stay together.
Right, she was the whole show looking freyish, and then Robbie got a hold of her and she was slayish over there. So.
Right. But here's the thing. Like, what was it about Rob that he just wanted to, it seemed like he just essentially wanted to suck the life out of David. Like, he knew David was miserable. They didn't really have a good relationship. Like, why would he switched?
Because David held the purse strings. But David held the purse strings. So even if he would have left David, remember David had that whole stuck a record of why she was crazy and couldn't.
Yeah, but Dodo Bird gave him the record.
No, you guys, so Rob saw that David was like, had a foot out the door, which is why Rob devised this plan to jump into Louise, because he realized he was about to lose David. So by jumping to Louise, he was able to keep David. So I mean, Rob was looking forward at.
So do you think he's just that obsessed with David?
Yes.
Yeah. That he will body hop forever just not to get rid of him.
He killed his best friend to be with David. So the answer is y'all.
Well, no, but I feel like at that point you see that
it get more crazier than that.
But I'm thinking like at that point you say, oh, I'm miserable. He's miserable. He doesn't really like me. So I'm just gonna burn myself in the fire. But no, he's willing to just continually, because he's not gonna change. Adele is going to Louise is going to be as miserable as Adele was towards him. So that's
when David starts seeing Louise's lights is snuffed out, then yeah. But right now he's still on that high that he got to have Louise in the end. You know, he doesn't even see that ain't even her. He's not even noticing the differences yet. And it's like it seemed like it took him a long time for he noticed the differences in Adele. You know, the man is fucking blindsided by everything.
Because he's a psychiatrist or psychologist. He's about the dumbest.
Right. But no, like I was wondering someone else possessed like your loved one's body. Like you're just not even gonna.
He's a medical doctor. He's not gonna think about that stuff. They don't think about the levels of things like that. They're about science.
They're like realists. They're not thinking, someone possessed my
scientific
my fiance's body. That's an idea. No, that's
a witchery. Man. That's a man, because a woman would have picked up on that. You don't sound right. This is different. That's a man.
But you're not thinking someone possessed their body.
But you gonna think?
I know you crazy. You like the same person.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check you.
I'll be gone. Have the money. Have whatever. I'm out of here.
Right? It's too much.
It just ain't worth it.
But he's also,
Adele couldn't even support herself. She never worked. So what was she gonna do?
but he was also worried about her saying he killed the guy in the well since his watch was down there. So, I mean,
I'd
he
be like,
was,
he stole my
so-
watch. He stole my
So
watch.
do y'all think they killed? Y'all don't think they killed the parents, right? I guess towards the end,
I think
it kind
was
of
an
makes sense that they
accident.
didn't.
No, because what it
I
sounds
think it was an accident.
yeah, because that was all Adele. Rob wasn't in the picture when her parents died.
She was really
No, I don't
guilty
mean. I
about
said
it
they. I
from the
mean
book.
David and Adele.
No, I mean she was out astro projecting somewhere when the house got caught on fire.
Astro projecting.
I mean that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think that was misleading because you kept thinking like they must have killed her parents. Like they didn't plan
Yeah.
on it. And it's like, oh, that
Yeah.
truly was an accident. Like,
Mhm.
and so I
Yeah.
think the movie did a good job, or the show did a good job
Yeah.
of really making you think one thing. And you're like, oh, this is just like all the other ones they planned.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, wait. No.
Because I definitely thought that, and I was gonna stop watching, especially when they said troubled teen, house burns down. Now she's wealthy. I was like, oh shit, this is
He was
predictable. I'm not
there.
watching it anymore.
in the middle of the night to save her. And it was just like,
Yeah.
y'all planned this. Y'all
And he's
planned
like,
why was he there in
coincidentally,
the
he's
middle of the night?
there.
do y'all think Rob planted that in Louise's mind to kind of manipulate her to feel sorry for
Yeah.
him?
Rob is a manipulator.
Yeah,
like
that's
she
what I got
said,
from-
Rob was a piece
Oh,
of
yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
She said, "Don't look for Rob because he is crazy. He
He's
is a piece of
trash.
trash." Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was just somebody living their best life through somebody else.
And
Yeah.
knowing how it ended, there
A
were a
leak,
lot of
basically.
clues when you think back on it, where she's like, read Rob's journal. And I was like, why are we reading Rob's
are we
journal?
reading
To
I was
learn
just
how
about to say
kill?
that.
It's
Yeah.
Rob's journal.
And
Yeah.
it
Because
was
he-
like,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
But don't you think
He
it's
wanted
kind of
her to
arrogant?
learn how to do the thing.
That was kind of arrogant that he was like, hey, read my shit. See how badass I am. I mean, that's kind of arrogant when you think
Yeah.
about it.
But how else would he teach her how to do the soul thing? He needed that. He needed her to know that technique just in case.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not just
how
in
else would you
case.
teach the
But
person
I
to do
just
it?
wonder, how did he know that Louise would give two craps enough to show up and then decide to do the soul thing? Like, how did he know?
oh,
Because
so
I
her
did you
dreams-
catch it?
Her
When,
dream, right?
when Louise was at the house and Adele was like, come upstairs, and which was weird in itself to show her the room. This was all premeditated. He
Yeah.
wanted her
Yeah.
to go up there to that room so she could astro project to that specific spot, because Louise would have had to have seen it in order to astro project there. So this was all premeditated, like far out, which
I
was
think what Rochelle is saying, at that point, how did Rob have that much confidence that she would fall and do that? I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
You know,
How did he
because
know that she would care enough to really do that?
Because she was weak. I think he knew she was
His
weak.
ass would
I
have
mean, she
ended
was
up
willing
burning
to
down
break
in
into the house to come in and save old girl. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, she had did it once already. Why wouldn't she do it again?
that would have been funny though, had he astro projected and it's like, wait, she's still home. Like I need her to come.
But she's
No,
sitting
come over here.
outside. And she's
It
sitting
was freaky
outside.
when she went to her house, when she was at her house, and she was like, Adele, and she was calling her, and then the bitch called her on the phone. I was like, that's some CIA Google
Yeah.
violation of privacy crap.
Like,
right
are
there.
you
been
looking for
looking at
me?
me in the shower?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
See,
that I
I
want no
thought-
friends like that.
I thought that they were gonna both jump into her body. Is how I thought it was gonna be. Like when
Both.
like when she came out and
Mhm.
I thought they were gonna.
It was a threesome.
I thought she was gonna as Adele was trying to jump into her body. I thought she was gonna jump back into her body as well, and they were both gonna be in there.
I
Ah.
worried when she left her body. I was like, why are you doing this? Like, call the cops, like, or call
Right.
999. I was like, just
I
call
mean, I
help.
guess it wouldn't have made a good show if she had common sense. It wouldn't have been a good show
Yeah.
if she had, because
Right,
behind her
because I would
eyes
have just
would've been
after
common
the house
damn
was
sense.
after the house was burning down, I couldn't get into it. I would have just walked away.
That's when you
I
say,
mean,
Adam, I'm not running into a burning building.
Thank you. You got a kid at
Yeah.
home.
You better call
or that's when you
999.
say, or that's when you say, finally the bitch is dead. I can get with her man. Let the house burn down. Why you need to
Exactly.
go in there and save her?
Exactly. And they fooled me because I definitely thought that, Adele was committing suicide with the note, and it started with the fire. We'll end it with the fire. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. So when that happened, I was so surprised.
It
Yeah,
should
that
have been
definitely,
all white
they
cast.
have to do a part 2. They have to do a season 2.
I
They
I do
can't
have
end
a
us like
question.
that.
That boy that was the patient of David's, what was
The
his
crazy
role?
guy.
Because I feel like
To
I
be a
missed
snitch.
it.
I thought he was gonna kill David. I thought at the end of it, he was gonna kill David for hurting Adele. Because you know
Uh-huh.
how Adele was playing like he beat her and all that stuff. So I thought maybe he's gonna catch them sleeping together. He's gonna kill David. And then Adele is not gonna have anybody. And then like they're both gonna lose David. That's what I
Mhm.
thought. Because he's like this hardcore rich kid just popping up on people's property. You can tell that area don't have no gun laws because homeboy show up in my house.
But yeah, in the UK, you can't own
Oh, I can't talk about that.
Not America.
No,
Oh yeah, that ain't
it's
America.
extremely hard to get a gun. That's why they have knives. They have.
Well, they got bats. They got bats. They got tasers. They got something because he just
I
was
was
popping up
wondering-
everywhere. He just
I was
standing
wondering
there
where
when
it was
Adele
going.
came.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be a bigger part with him,
I do too.
but
I thought he was gonna
I
try to
looked
kill
at
David too.
I looked at David as a hardcore psychiatrist though, because he shut homeboy down. He was like, "Don't show up at my office hours are over. You're not going in here to office." I was like, "Ooh, David."
But girl, he's oblivious, so.
Yeah, David a little clueless. I like that it was no name brand characters. I did like that because it's not people you typically see all the time, unless you watching what's that channel?
BBC.
Yeah, BBC. I don't see them. I don't be CCing them on BBC.
I think a good part 2 would be if at the last second, if Louise got out of the body and she's just floating around waiting to
I understand
inhabit.
why she just do that.
Well, no,
Because she
couldn't.
was
She
all
cutting
hyped up
drug
on Mountain
bodies.
Dew.
Uh-huh.
But that
She
would be a
can't get out
good
of
part
her
2.
drug body.
If she just floating out there, a green spirit, just waiting for her chance to jump in
Hell
that body.
yeah, because all she gotta wait for is for B to pop out that body, and then there she go. That's all she gotta do.
How long can your spirit be out there on its own though?
I don't know.
Can it breathe?
It's a spirit. I don't think it
Because they
needs-
always come back to life. I'm like, can your spirit not breathe? I don't know.
Maybe it's just a shock of returning.
They always gasping for air.
So why did Rob have to do smack to be able to astral project, but Louise didn't have to do smack to do it? And I don't think girl had to.
Adele didn't have to do it either.
Yeah, she didn't have to.
I
Did
think
he
they
have
just
to
had
do
to
it?
have. I think they just had to be daydreaming.
Adele
I
did it one
basically think
time
they was
with
daydreaming.
him.
I thought it was the
I don't
finger
think-
thing that
Yeah,
helped
it's
him
a
astral
finger thing. It
project.
wasn't the drugs. He just happened to be a drug
Yeah.
addict.
Oh, okay.
It was a counting finger thing. That's what it was.
Which was another clue as to that it
It
wasn't
was a
Adele,
what thing?
because
Counting
it was like
finger.
You're like,
that was the thing. they
counting
were-
their fingers. That's what triggered it.
I figured they just was really good at daydreaming. That's what I
Yeah.
did.
But that the whole drug thing was like, oh, Adele wasn't a drug addict. Like that was another clue that it wasn't really her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like all these little clues throughout the movie that it wasn't her, it was Rob.
But I thought that's why she was at the home, because she was a drug addict. And then how she met Rob.
mental
Mental
issues.
institution.
it was because of her
Oh.
parents dying in the
Oh.
fire.
Oh, I thought that
Yeah,
was a
she
drug
suffered
rehab
post-traumatic
facility.
stress disorder.
Oh.
So what was all behind the dreams then? Did they just use the dreams as a way to manipulate her so
I
he can
think
get
the
her body?
dreams was a way that allowed them to astral project. It was kind of, I guess it was kind of like the steps. And once
Every
you're
time
able
you
to
say
get
that, I think they went to space.
once you were able to get through the door, then you could go anywhere.
Well,
Oh,
that was
okay.
kind of the kicker was like you got to this great space by going through like the door, which they told you it was a door, but then like that kicker was there was another door in your like peaceful space. And
So
that was
I think the
like,
second
look,
door.
that was the key, I guess, for her to eventually make it through there. But she's thinking they're getting her to this peaceful like Zen space. But the real goal was like,
If she was freaking sleepwalking on a balcony, what the hell, man?
and you know what though? She got her peaceful sleep and she just couldn't settle. She left Adam in that peaceful area to go through another door. That was another thing. I was just like, come on, girl. Just
She's looking for happiness by any means.
She had it all along.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that was kind of tricky for me is that so Rob knew how to astro project into another body, but the other for Adele, she didn't know how to come back out of his body.
He killed her.
No, but before she was like, no, I this doesn't feel right. I'm ready to come back.
He drugged
then
himself.
he eventually drugged her, but at that point,
No. He was high when they did it.
She didn't realize he had drugged himself so that when they switched, she wouldn't be able to move.
I
That's like
Because
the
he
second
did it
time he
again.
did that.
To Louise. He did the same thing to Louise.
Oh,
And
because
then
he
he
just gave
just-
himself that. Oh, he just gave himself that shot in the tub, right?
And then he OD'd like both the girls basically afterwards, but they were both immobilized because they didn't realize it was a heavily drugged body.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that either initially. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I just remember the voice, but I remember, I do remember him putting it in his foot because I was like this, covering my eyes.
I thought she was hiding it from David. I didn't even register it was Rob. I was like, oh, David's not gonna look between her toes.
I thought that too.
I was under Tashi's impression that it was going to be the end where they were trying to cover up the dead parents. I was not expecting that as the end, and it just messed me up.
Just worried about Adam.
Right?
You know the odd thing is the whole movie I felt like was kind of like, and then episode 6 was like, it's like everything happened in the last episode. It's like there was no climax, no build up. It's just like episode 6.
Oh, they had a few climaxes.
They did.
They had a few climaxes. I was like,
you know, aside from those.
Well, I'm gonna make a comment and I'm probably gonna get some flack about. But why did Adam look more like he was the product of Adele and David of Louise and David than Louise and her man? Because I was like, that kid sure as hell is bright.
That was bad casting. That was bad casting. And
then the whole time looking at my kid, I was like, damn, they look like Amari.
I thought the dad was white too. Because I
thought he would have been
like,
lighter.
oh, he's gonna come to the door and be a white guy. And I was like, wait, they did horrible casting.
But why don't we ever get to see the dad's new wife? Do we know if she's white
irrelevant?
Budget cuts.
Yeah. Right.
France.
COVID.
We know she's from France.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Well, I mean, it was a good show. I felt bad for Louise. It was. I really hope they have a season 2. I really do.
She should have minded her own business. That's on her.
I hope there's a season 2.
I feel bad for Adam.
Somehow she got out of the body and has been flown around. I'm so hoping that this will happen.
Or she shows up in someone else's body like,
yes,
hey, Rob, it's me.
Like, bitch, what?
My body.
That would be funny.
Well,
all right, y'all.
Any other feedback? Well, thank you all for tuning in to Frey and Slay, the Behind Her Eyes edition. Keep the comments going and please subscribe below and like our page. Good night.
Good night.